I know, you guys, we are once again talking about Jeffree Star, but he cannot keep his name out of the press. Or shall I say, he has not changed at all and he continues to get himself into trouble. Though Jeffree has tried to say time and time again that he's changed, I do not think so. I'm not buying it based off of recent events and stories that have come out about him. And now we've got a situation on something that was recently said on TikTok that is not making Jeffree look good. And Jeffree, of course, is saying is all lies, but there are some receipts that are backing up that this seems to be a real situation that happened. Of course, Jeffree is upset about the whole thing. He's trying to make this story go away, but we're gonna spill on all that is going on with Jeffree. Jeffree Star is proving yet again to be the same Jeffree he's always been, despite his claims that he's changed, especially since moving out of Los Angeles and starting his quieter life in Wyoming. But with a new TikTok accusing him of still being the same mean girl, it seems like nothing has really changed. This all started when a pop culture TikToker recently shared a video detailing an uncomfortable experience he and his husband had backstage at a Jelly Roll show. They were invited to the event by Bunny, Jelly Roll's wife, but when they ran into Jeffree Star, that's when things weren't so lovely. The TikToker Jordan wanted to share his story, especially since Jeffree has been making headlines more frequently lately, and let me just say, the details of their interaction had mean girl written all over them. No matter how many times Jeffree has tried to say, I've changed. No. Not after hearing this.
Full transparency, I didn't want to talk about this because I thought me making a video about it would prevent me from being invited to other places by Bunny. But now I don't care, and I was never the problem here. Bunny and I have been friends on social media for quite some time, and we were both in Nashville at the same time, so she invited me and my husband to the Grand Ole Opry that night. It was a really big deal for us because we had never been invited to something like that, and we're both huge fans of country music. The first person that I saw when I went backstage was Jeffree Star. I thought that I had opened a wrong door, and all of a sudden I was in 2008. My husband doesn't even have social media, so he had no idea who Jeffree Star even was. I thought he canceled himself a long time ago, but apparently he was there for Bunny as well. Eventually, we all met backstage, and initially, it was fine. Then at some point throughout the night, me, Bunny, Jeffree, my husband, a couple other people on Bunny's team were all talking about haters online. My husband said, yeah, that's why I try and tell Jordan to not post in real time while we're out of town because people are crazy and we've gotten death threats before. Jeffree looked at my husband and said, oh, I think you're giving yourself too much credit because who the f*** are you? Whew. We are people that got invited to be in the same room that you're in, sweetie. But if you thought my tongue was lethal, my husband's even worse. My husband is 100% with the shits. I could just see the TMZ headline in my head. Some words were exchanged, but I kind of gave my husband a look and I said, drop it. Even though Jeffree was rude as f***, I knew that he and Bunny were really good friends and I'm the outsider here. So no matter what, I was on the losing end in this situation.
According to Jordan, people in the room actually apologized on Jeffree's behalf after the incident, and Bunny herself tried to smooth things over by saying that's just how he is, which what does that even mean? It's not exactly a good defense here. We should not just let people be that way.
It was bad. I mean, there were even people that were on the wardrobe team that apologized to me and my husband. Bunny tried her best to diffuse the situation, and she's like, oh, that's just how Jeffree is. I think that's the problem. I didn't take what he said personally because I'm pretty sure that Jeffree Star hates himself, but at the same time, you can't just go around talking to people like that. I don't care how much money you have, you're not better than anybody. Knowing what I know now, as grateful as I was to have been invited to the Grand Ole Opry, as soon as I saw Jeffree Star, I should have turned around and went home. I am a true fan of country music. Being backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and with those artists is a dream. It's just unfortunate that my experience is now a little bit tainted because of this. So when people show you who they are, believe them.
But it gets messier because someone later asked Jordan if he and Bunny were still friends after all of this, saying, wait, by you saying you don't care anymore about invites from Bunny mean you're no longer friends with her, or am I reading that wrong? And he made a video saying that they are no longer friends.
Wait, by you saying you don't care anymore about invites from Bunny mean you're no longer friends with her? Yes, that is a fair assumption. After I made that video, I did hear from her. We went back and forth a little bit on text messages. Nothing angry, it was civil, but we clearly were not seeing eye to eye. She sent me like a 2-minute voice memo where she was saying her side and Jeffree's side, and it didn't really deserve a response, to be honest, because clearly it's not going to go anywhere. But she ended by saying, you know, she loves me and hopes I have a great holiday season, and then she and Jelly Roll blocked me. So, yeah, that's done.
Things escalated even further when Jeffree caught wind of the situation and decided to address it on a TikTok live. And to no one's surprise, he denied everything and labeled Jordan a liar. Because let's be real, when does Jeffree ever take accountability for anything? Honestly, his response alone felt like another example of his mean girl behavior. And with the way that he was just recently on the canceled podcast talking about the past controversies and dramas that he's been in, taking absolutely no accountability, saying that he was not involved in taking down James Charles, he was not involved in Bye Sister getting Tati to make that video, he did not have drama with Trisha Paytas. Like, we all know that those are real things that happen because there's receipts for all of those things and those events, but here he was denying it. Just like how right now he's denying yet another claim about him.
I'm not going to mention the person's name, but there's a new video about me, I guess. I'm getting texts about it where someone I met with a mutual friend is making up weird lies about the interaction. I've dealt with that my entire life. Don't care. That's not my not my issue.
And if it's who I think it is, why would anyone believe that person?
What, the drama channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, some weird venomous git. I met him once backstage at some random show, and I guess he just made a video about me and some friends. And I'm like, baby, that didn't happen. But if you want to live in that fantasy, great. You're not going to get a response from me. I wish you the best. God bless you. And I hope you figure it out.
Jordan was not about to let Jeffree's denial slide. He came back with receipts after seeing speculation online about whether he was making this whole thing up.
I'm a lot of things, but a liar is not one. I saw that Jeffree called me venomous, that I'm lying, I made the whole thing up. I also saw that you said I made this all up because Jeffree has makeup coming out. I've had Jeffree blocked for months, and I don't even wear makeup, so how the I know that? This all happened on June 5th. As you can see here, people in my life have known about this for quite a while. My story has not changed one word.
One of the receipts included a DM that he had sent to a friend right after the event, retelling the events of that night, saying basically all of us were talking about haters online, and Dave chimed in and said, yeah, that's why I tell Jordan not to post in real time because people are crazy and rob your... Jeffree was like, oh, you're giving yourself too much credit because who are you? And it turned into a whole thing. I didn't take it like that because I know Jeffree is bitchy and how he is, but Dave had no idea who he was. Jordan then shares a message from Bunny herself where she is literally admitting that she told Jeffree not to act that way. Like, come on. If Bunny is acknowledging that something went down, how is Jeffree sitting there still denying it, calling Jordan a liar?
Before Bunny blocked me this afternoon, she texted me and she was upset. This was the first text message I got. It said, wait, I actually stuck up for you, Jordy. I told Jeffree not to act like that. I apologized to you and your husband so many times. Sad that you would say that's all I said. I told her if she did stick up for us, me and my husband didn't hear it. I didn't recall her apologizing to us. I know the wardrobe department did. Even if Bunny and I do have different recollections of these events, why is it that 2 out of the 3 people in this picture are acknowledging that something happened? And yes, context is everything because this is not when that interaction happened. What you're seeing here is when we first met. The rude comment happened like an hour after this. He knew damn well who we were at that point. Riddle me that.
And people were also just talking about the photo that he used in this video, saying that you could just tell that Jeffree was judging him up and down based on this image. But it's just so ridiculous how truly 2 out of 3 people here remember Jeffree's attitude that night. And he thinks what is being said is all just a made up lie. I mean, truly, I think he just blurts out these comments and doesn't think so in his mind. Maybe he wasn't rude, but then I also think that he says these things to make himself feel better about himself, or to feel like some higher power, like, oh, you don't have to worry about getting robbed because you're nobody. Like, that's just how his comment came across. And I don't know if he just feels better about himself when he puts other people down or what, but it's ridiculous. And it's just sad that he has to act this way and that he can't even take accountability for it. But like I said, I'm not surprised. At the end of the day, this whole week and last week, all of this talk about Jeffree Star is starting to feel like 2019 all over again, even though he keeps claiming that he's changed. But here we have yet another time where Jeffree is being talked about. And this wasn't even that long ago. We're talking about June here. So he can go around saying that Wyoming changed him and this and that, but clearly his actions, his words are saying something totally different. But whatever, Jeffree wants to deny it, call Jordan a liar, even though there's literally no real reason to be lying about something like this. And given Jeffree's track record, well, it speaks for itself, I fear. But that is what has recently come out and been said about him this week and what he had to say in response. I want to know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.
it.